Hey guys, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about all the books I read in June, and I finally got out of my reading slump and finished 5 books in June, which was my goal. So I hit my goal and I'm so utterly happy and proud of hitting that goal. Because let me tell you, this 2.5 month long slump has been rough.
This is the worst.
I've been down in the trenches, but I think I finally got out, so. Thank God. Now, despite the thumbnail, I actually only finished 1 physical copy. The rest of the books that I read were either on my Kindle or were audiobooks. So with that being said, let's get into it. I don't even know what the first book I finished is. The first book I finished in the month of June was on my Kindle, and I just feel like it'd be a disservice to you guys to not show you my current Kindle stickers because they are so freaking cute. I'm like actually genuinely obsessed and in love. Literally, how cute, how stunning. I know that's not what this video is about, but I had to show you. So anyways, the first book that I finished on my Kindle this month was The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. And when I tell you guys this was the perfect book to get me out of my slump, I'm not even kidding. I'm literally not exaggerating. It was so fast paced. It was closed door, which I personally love a closed door romance. Sometimes I like smutting books, but sometimes I just feel it's unnecessary and too much.
Egghead murderer! Hold your fire!
And I loved every second of reading that book. The couple in this book was so sweet. Our main male character was literally like, let me just say, piggyback ride. Okay, for those of you who have read this book, you get me, you feel me, you know what I'm talking about. Why is that one word holds so much weight in my mind of this book and how amazing this book is, and the relationship, the banter, and the chemistry between the two of them was so amazing, and even just the tension. Like, genuinely, I love how this book was formulated. This is the first book I've ever read by Catherine Center, and let me tell you, it will not be the last. I will definitely be picking up more books by her because it was literally formulated so perfectly in my opinion. I ended up giving this book a 5 out of 5 stars. Genuinely loved it so much. It truly like helped get me out of my slump. Like, I owe this book to getting me out of my slump. I read it in 2 days. And for those of you who know, going from being in a 2.5 month long slump to reading a book in 2 days, wild. Absolutely insane. That's how you know I was eating it up. So yeah, 5 stars, absolutely loved it and highly recommend. And the next book I read and finished is actually the only physical copy I read in June, which is kind of wild. I'm gonna be reading a lot of physical copies in July. I have a feeling though, because if you guys couldn't tell, you're getting a little sneak peek of my at-home library, my book room, reading room, whatever you want to call it. I finally finished it. The video after this one should actually be the video of me setting it up, organizing my books. I'm so excited to edit that video and have that video out in the world for you guys to see. I am so, not me going on a tangent, but I'm so impressed and proud of how this room turned out, and I'm in love with it, and I'm gonna be in here so much, and I cannot wait to film reading vlogs in here and just be in here with you guys. It's just a vibe, and it's really making me want to crack open every single one of my books and read them and just live those lives too. So anyways, the first and only physical copy I read in June was Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. This was my book club book of the month for June with you guys on Discord. If you haven't joined my book club and you want to, link is always down in the description. This book, again, loved. It wasn't a 5-star read for me. However, I am so obsessed with this. I loved our main couple in this, and our main guy was, in my personal opinion, really giving golden retriever kind of vibes. The chemistry between them was so fun. This felt like a very fast-paced, easy, and just really fun romance book. It's a cowboy romance. She's kind of the cowgirl in this book in the sense that she does racing, but she has some things that she's going on mentally and like deep within her, and so is he, and the way they come together and the way he helps her through her problems and vice versa is so beautiful. And I just loved, again, how this was formulated. I loved the writing style of this book, and let me just say I completely and utterly fell in love with Wes, which is our main female character's brother, and his book is the second book. I actually just picked it up. It's back there on my cowboy romance shelf. I'm so excited to read that book. I just really resonated with him as a character, of him wanting to, you know, I'm not even gonna say that. I'm just gonna let you guys read it. I really resonate with him as a person and just fell in love with him, so I'm so excited to read the second book. I feel like that one is definitely gonna be my favorite of the series, but still loved this. Would highly highly recommend, and I'm so glad we read it in the book club together because a lot of you guys also really loved it, and it was just really fun to chat with you guys about this book. So yeah, I ended up giving this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Again, highly recommend. The next book I finished is an audiobook, and that is The Takedown by Lily Chu. Now, if you guys aren't new here, you probably recognize the name Lily Chu. She has written one of my favorite romances, and that is The Stand-In and The Comeback. They're all on Audible for free because they're Audible originals, and let me tell you, I've loved every single one. Now, I did start The Takedown so long ago. Like, let's even look. I started listening to The Takedown, wow, March 11th. That was way longer ago than I thought. Anyways, so it took me quite some time to get through this because I did enter my 2.5 month long book slump, but I finally finished it, and oh my god, guys, I loved it so much. Even when I would take a break from listening to it and then go back a few weeks later, I would just pick up where, you know, it just was picking up where I left off with these characters in the most amazing way possible because I was loving it so much.
What did she say?
I love the way she writes her stories, formulates her characters. She gives her characters, I feel, so much depth, and I just love how she writes each character and also the chemistry between the two characters and how they fall in love. I just love everything about her writing style so freaking much. This wasn't my favorite of the three, but I loved it so much, and I would highly recommend all three of them. I loved listening to them. I love the narrator for these, so I'd highly recommend listening to them if you're looking for a new audiobook. Otherwise, you can get them physical copies at Barnes, and I would highly recommend reading them however you want to read them because they are so good. And I ended up giving this one in particular a 4 out of 5 stars. Literally so good. Go read them right now. Not kidding. Oh, also, they are closed door, so there is no smut. So for those of you that are closed door girlies, these are for you. And the next book I read was also on my Kindle, on Kindle Unlimited, and that is Sable Peak by Devaney Perry. Now guys, you know, if you are not new here, that the Eden series is one of my all-time favorite series. It's probably my favorite romance series. I love these characters and the universe so much, so reading this last book in the series was very, very emotional for me. Quite literally, before I started reading it, I was on my Kindle and I always scroll to the end to see exactly how many pages it in to put that in my Bookly to make sure I'm actually tracking the accurate amount of pages I'm reading. And I saw the last sentence was their names and then we were the Edens, and the way I actually started sobbing at that moment in time, and I hadn't even started the book because it made me so emotional that this series was coming to an end. I loved this book so much. I love a good single parent trope, and there is 2 in this series, so if you also love a single parent trope, you should read this series. It's so good. Juniper Hill is the other one that's a single parent trope. That's personally my favorite of the entire series, but this one was so good. We follow Mateo, which is our youngest brother in the family, and he is such a sweetheart. I loved also the aspect that he at one point lived in Fairbanks, Alaska, and for those of you who don't know, I actually used to live in Fairbanks for 3 years and I miss it so dearly. I'm now back in Missouri, and reading him talking about being in Alaska made me even more emotional reading this because I miss living there so freaking much. I'm literally gonna get emotional. I'm literally gonna get emotional, but I do. I miss it so much. So that aspect of it really also connected me to him as a character because he loved his time in Alaska, but he did not want to raise his child there, which is also kind of the reason that we left. I'm not gonna go into that right now. So if y'all want a story time on that, that can happen later, like in a vlog or something, but I loved it. I loved the connection between our main characters, and all of these books in this series, we basically have some type of mystery crime aspect to it, and this one is very much set up in the previous book, and so it has to do with our main female character of this book and seeing how she deals with these things from her past and deals with her emotions, and how he kind of helps her through it but is also trying not to be too overbearing about it and giving her space at the same time. It was really fun and interesting watching them find a balance and working that out. There's a very, very emotional scene towards the end of this book that had me sobbing because it was just very emotional, but I loved this book. I love her writing. I love the execution of this entire series. This is definitely a series that I hold so deeply in my heart and will reread one day because I already miss them so much, and I cried so much as I finished this book because I was not ready to see it go. So with that being said, I ended up giving this book a 4 stars. It's not my favorite from the series, but this is a 5-star series for me, and I loved it so much. Please read the series if you haven't already. I promise you will not regret it. And the last book that I read in June is actually an audio audiobook, and that is The Burnout by Sophie Kinsella, I think is how you say her name. I randomly came across this on Audible, and because I've been in such a long slump, I had like 4 credits that I haven't used. So I was like, you know what? It's intriguing me. So I downloaded it, and then I started listening to it, and I was like, oh my god, I don't think I'm gonna like this. And then all of a sudden I keep listening and I'm suddenly obsessed, and I don't really know where the obsession came from. I don't remember what the turning point was for me, where I went from thinking I wasn't gonna like this and potentially DNF it to being absolutely obsessed and in love with the story. It was so good, okay? I will say this is a romance, but also I wouldn't go into this wanting heavy romance because it's not heavily romance based, I wouldn't say. I would say it's very, very much like a character study of our main character. We're really following her as she is going through a burnout from work and she's taking a break, and we just spend a lot of time with her before we even really get to know the male character and have them kind of actually start to get to know each other too. But I loved the whole process. I loved the moments before we met him and started to really get to know him with her, but also watching them kind of start to fall in love was so fun. I loved the chemistry and the banter between the two of them. It was so good, like genuinely. I'm so surprised because again, I don't know where the moment was where I went from not liking it, thinking I might DNF it, to all of a sudden, whoa, I'm obsessed. But it happened. I really enjoyed it, and I would highly recommend as an audiobook. I thought it was so fun, and I really loved it. So I need to stop repeating myself. Anyways, gave it a 4 stars. Definitely would recommend, and it was really fun, and I'm loving. And well, what? You know what I'm saying. I technically have been reading one other book, but the day I'm filming this is July 1st and I'm not quite done with it. I'm hoping to finish it today, but it's July, so I'm putting it on my July wrap up. But it's my book club book with my sister and my other sister's wife, and it's called Some Girls Do by, hold that thought, I honestly don't know the author's name off the top of my head, Jennifer Dugan. This was picked by Maria for our June book, so I'm gonna be finishing that today. But so far I'm really enjoying it. It's really fun, YA, fast paced, and the chemistry and tension between them is so cute, and I'm eating it up. So anyways, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you've read any of these books down below and what you thought of them. I'm very curious if we thought the same thing or if we had very vastly different opinions. Let me know. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you are not already, because we have a lot of fun over here and we want you to join the fun. So with that being said, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Guys, I love my hair like this. This is the first time I've like really done my hair like this, and why is it so cute? I was convinced I was gonna grow my hair out, and now I'm like, maybe I'm not going to, because this is so stinking cute. I'm like literally obsessed and I'm loving it and I'm eating it up. And how do you eat up a hairstyle? I don't know, but I am. This is feeling like the one for today.
Is it romantic?
Come on. Oh my god. Why can I not get this can open? Oh my god. I can't get it. I can't. The way that I cannot get a can open is ridiculous. Cheers. That is just so good. Truly, genuinely incredible, amazing, lovely, delicious. The first book I finished in the month. It might not be kind of the cowboy in this scenario, in the fact that she what is it called? What am I trying to say? To them as a singular being, I guess, who are closed girl. Whoa. And the last book I read, whoa, because I honestly don't know the authors. Whoa, that was a lot.